Hey guys, it's another weekly episode here, and we are talking about how your addiction is trashing your nervous system. It's a true story. And before you scurry off and say, one, I don't want to face my addictions, or two, I'm not an addict, I'm going to call your bluff on that. And I'm not talking about addictions that we're used to hearing about. I'm not talking about your addiction to gambling or swearing or stalking your ex, or maybe it is to online shopping, to substances, to what have you, food. I don't know. Maybe you're addicted to something good like exercise. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about an addiction that trumps all of it, that trumps all of it and affects your life even more than those things, believe it or not. And that is your addiction to thinking. And we all have it. See, thinking is an addiction, it's a compulsion, just like any other addiction. So it's funny that it doesn't get more play, more word service, or more being talked about more because it is disrupting our life beyond any of these other addictions. And it is something we all can relate to. I don't care how well versed you are in your meditation practice, because I am, and it's still an issue, and how much you quote beautiful meditation or mindfulness things on Instagram, you're still right there in the thick of it with the rest of us. So get over yourself if that's the case. Stick with me. If you're still sticking with me right now, that's awesome. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to talk about how we're addicted to thinking today. And there should just really be a group for all of us. There should be there is AA for substances or whatnot. There should be one for us in the thinking community here, which is all of us. So we could all just put up our hand now and admit it. Just say, hey, my name is so and so. I'm addicted to thinking, to ruminating, to worrying, to judgment, to imagining, to anticipating, to just basically wasting every moment of my precious little life with all of this trivial BS up in my head. Okay, so now that we've admitted our problem, we know that we're in great company with each other. And nobody's above anybody else for being, so much more spiritual. We're all there together. Let's move on. Let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. And that is why. Why are we so addicted to thinking? And God, there's so many reasons. I had to cap it off at like seven, but it's pretty interesting. To what happens when you actually find peace? You may think you want it, you might not. And it's kind of a surprising truth about finding peace. We'll get into that. And then finally, we're going to talk about how you can shift the relationship with your mind. And I will be leading you through a guided meditation at the end of this. And before you go, I don't do meditation, or I try, I fail, or I never have. Forget all of that. Set it aside. I don't want to hear it. All you have to do is close your eyes and listen to my voice. And you can totally do that. Anybody can. So the rest of that is just excuses, and I hate excuses. So get over it. All right. So if you don't already know who I am, I'm Jennifer Sack, and I'm so pleased to be here with you. If you're watching this live or the replay in my Stress Loop Rewire community, you're awesome. Thanks so much for being there. I really appreciate it. If you know anybody who would benefit from being in the group, share it with them, please. Invite them or get them over to it to get into it, because I'd love to have them join us as well. And if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere else because I shared this resource with you, thanks again for taking the time out. I truly believe and hope that it will benefit you. All right. With that being said, I'm going to start with a quote from one of my favorites, Eckhart Tolle. All right. So I don't know, some people call him Tolle, Eckhart Tolle, whatever. Eckhart Tolle, you know who he is. He is a buzzword and has been for probably at least the last decade or two. And it was 2 decades ago that I remember getting my first book on mindfulness meditation. It was The Power of Now. And it really started me on this journey. It sparked this interest into the mind because I could relate so much to everything he said. And I'm going to share a quote from that book with you now, and it relates to our topic at hand, obviously. And I got to read my notes here. This kind of compulsive thinking is actually an addiction. What characterizes an addiction? Quite simply this: you no longer feel that you have the choice to stop. It seems stronger than you. It also gives you a false sense of pleasure that invariably turns into pain. Oh, like so many of our addictions, it's that loveliness of pleasure that turns into pain. And we're going to talk about that today. So let's be real. We are all seduced by our thoughts. They're alluring, they're seductive. We want them, we crave them. It's an addiction that runs deep, deeper than my love of coffee and chocolate. I don't know what you've got going on, but it is one of those things. I have been meditating heavily for 20 years plus. And I got to say, I still am addicted to thinking. And it obviously it bugs me, but it's one of those things like I just want to think. So because I've done it for so long, I can quickly access the space of, no thought or whatever. I can go there quickly. I can drop in, sure, but what happens when I do? I miss thinking. I'll admit it. So here's the thing, it's just juicy, it's alluring, and it's all the things that keep us occupied. And here are 7 reasons why we are addicted to thinking. Number 1, we're adrenaline junkies. We love it. We kind of, some of us more than others are adrenaline junkies, but we get into this mode where we're always kind of thriving and living on adrenaline. So we kind of love that feeling of scanning and looking for the threat and like thwarting it and, dodging this and that. And we're like, yeah, there's this high that we're getting from this adrenaline. And that's the same thing that happens with our thinking. When we're finding the threats out there in our environment and we're mitigating them or overcoming them, we have this little war within ourselves, and it creates this like fun little adrenaline that really affects your nervous system more than you think. Number 2, why we're addicted to thinking, we get little dopamine hits. We love it. We like to think about things that like spark us, like, oh, our upcoming plans for the weekend or a vacation that's coming up, even your next meal that you're going to cook. So there's things that we think about that like give us a little like juice, a little dopamine, like, oh, I can't wait till that. Like, yay. We get addicted to that for sure. Number 3, problem solving mode. So our minds love to solve problems. They love to munch. They're like little mind munchers. And so we either, one, scan our environment for all the problems. I find myself doing this. If I don't have a problem in the moment, I'm ticking through things looking for the problem, any problem, because I just want to solve it. I want to feel in control. I want to feel like I have a grip on things. So, or that I'm accomplishing something. And now if you don't have a problem, what's going to happen? Because our minds like to solve problems. You're going to create one for funsies. Not fun, but your mind will think it's fun because it wants to be the one solving them and getting a little pat on the back. Good job, A plus, you solved that one. Let's move on to the next. Over and over again. Ugh. All right. Number 4, why we are addicted to thinking. It's a habitual frequency. That's all it is. It's a habit. It's a habit of your energetic field that just keeps going. Do you ever tell me if you notice this. This happens to me all the time. Even first thing when I wake up, I don't have much to be thinking about yet. Nothing's gone on yet. I'm literally rolling out of bed, and there's a song playing in my head. Like, where? Why? I have no reason. All throughout any time, there's constant noise, and it's just our frequency that is a natural habitual habit for us to just be going. Da, 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 just going. So it's just something we're attuned to. So it's something you have to rewire in order to have a new habitual frequency that is not this constant noise, songs, thoughts, what have you. Number 5, why we are addicted to thinking is ego drama. Our ego, oh my God, all day long, you're defending yourself to imaginary people who are attacking you and judging you, whoever they are in your minds. You have those people, those archetypes or whatever that you think are always judging you, or that voice in your head. So you're defending yourself. You are justifying all your actions to an imaginary person or even yourself, or you are judging others because that makes your ego feel really good because you are right and you want to be right. And you're going to find all the ways that you are right because it makes you feel good because your ego loves it. So it's your own ego drama that is causing you to be addicted because it feels freaking good. Okay. So here's the other thing. Number 6, escaping the now. We are super resistant to the present moment. And this is what Eckhart Tolle talks about all the time. He's like, you just don't want to be here. You want to be anywhere else than here. So it's just one of those things where if you ever notice, most likely you are not here in this moment thinking about this moment. It's usually about the past or future. And the future is really just a regurgitation of the past because you are not psychic, most likely. And so anything you are making out to be the future is truly just like some morphed imaginary vision of something you've seen or done or heard or whatever in the past. And you project it like it's the future. So you're everywhere but here. The only time you're really, I think, here and present is when something is really drawing your attention to it. You're burning dinner. Boom, attention goes to the stove on the or the pot on the stove. You're in pain or something's happening that's causing pain. You're really present then, right? You're reading an email that is causing a ton of anxiety. Wow, you are present. But mostly we're everywhere else than right here. And finally, number 7, why you are addicted to thinking. We just love drama. That is why reality shows are as successful and rampant as they are. We love drama. We love the gossip. We love the, oh my God, we love the highs and lows. We love it all. We are voyeurs that love to look at other people's lives. And we do also love to just explore our minds and all the things that go on in there. We love drama. So these are reasons that keep us stuck. So don't feel like neurotic. Don't judge yourself for thinking or being compulsive all the time with it, or like, God, my mind just won't stop. You're human, and our minds are wired this way. We're also heavily influenced by our environment that causes us to want to be thinking all the time, stimulating us, notifying us, subliminally, controlling us. I mean, there's all of this overstimulation happening that causes us to be in this hot mess. So I want you to let go of the judgment you have of yourself and understand, oh God, there's all these reasons so why this kind of feels good, even though it's trashing your nervous system. You think it feels good in the time now, just like that quote from Eckhart Tolle that I shared with you. It's this false sense of pleasure now, but it invariably turns into pain. Okay. So that's the cost. What else is the cost of all this incessant thinking? Well, in yogic philosophies, they refer to these fluctuations of the mind as vrittis. They're mental whirlpools. And it's just keeping you stuck and far away from the reality of who you really are beneath all of that gunk. Okay. So here's the kicker. Most of the time, we're not even being productive with our thoughts. There are times that thinking is productive. It's constructive. We need to solve some problems sometimes. That's how anything gets invented, by thinking, imagining. We have to plan things sometimes. We can't just always fly by the seat of our pants. So there are times that thinking is necessary, it's warranted, it's constructive, fabulous. But most of the time, what's happening? You know what they say? They say, like 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day are running through these noggins. Oh my Lanta. And what's even worse is that like 90 to 95% of those are just repetitive thoughts from the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that. So you've basically just created this like carbon copy of yourself every day, all day long, thinking the same messed up crap from the day before, and it's creating your world because that's what you're now drawing into yourself. That's now what's being reflected to you. And you're just living basically in a big fat repeat of mental trauma because you're addicted to it. So, oh my gosh, it's costing you your peace. But here's key point number 2. And this is such the wild truth. You may think you want peace, but you could be wrong. And this is what I have found out. This is personal experience that I'm sharing with you. And I know from reading other things that I'm not alone here. Very rarely are we are. Okay. Just a caveat. Anytime you think you're unique and you have like just a very personal experience, You're not that special. Everybody has these same common threads because we're human. All right, so here's the thing, because you'll probably find this too, I imagine. If you start exploring peace, if you start exploring letting go of the thinking and dipping into those no thought times for extended period of time, you might come to this kind of wall as well that I have found. That peace, although you think you want it, may not be as blissful as it seems. So here's the thing. We think of peace as like this euphoric state, this like transcendence, this enlightenment, and all those things can happen for people, and you can have some moments and some really blissful ones and highly energetic ones that cause all sorts of sensations and joy and euphoria. Sure, those things can happen. You might need a little DMT. I don't know. You might need to do something to get into that state. But generally, I think we put this peace, this stillness of mind up on this huge pedestal. And then when it happens, we're like, oh, now what? It's just quiet. It's just nothing. And so then you get a little disappointed. You had this big obsession with like really getting into the space, and then you get there and you're like, oh. And you know what? It's very uncomfortable for most of us because we're not used to it. It's even boring for some of us. It's anticlimactic. It feels unproductive. It's like the party's over and your ride left without you, and you're just sitting there like, well, now what? So that is the most surprising truth I have found. It's like, well, what do I do with this? We're so used to the buzz, the humming, that we really don't even know what to do with this peaceful space. So there's all this talk about you need to do this, but there's not a whole lot of guidance of what to do when you get there. And I don't think a lot of people are exposing the truth of like, maybe that's a little bit boring. I don't really want it. I'm going to go back to that fun dopamine hit of thinking or addiction or adrenaline or whatever it is. This is why we return to it again and again, because when we do get a little taste of the spaciousness that happens in the no thought zone of just simple, plain awareness, a lot of us are just like, well, all right. That was really anticlimactic. I don't know what to do with that. So here's the trade-off. This is the little nudge that's going to get you through that. And this is something I really have to employ for myself, because as soon as I go into that space that I know is good for me, that I know I need to be visiting, if not, I mean, it would be great if we all could just live in this space of pure awareness all the time. I don't really think in our society, in our environment, that that's, what's the word, doable, realistic. It would be nice. We would definitely want to go there more and more. But what I have found in going there more and more is that I actually need a little bit of a why, because I want to go back to my fun addiction of thinking because it feels yummy there. It's very alluring. So here's a good why for you, of why you could just, try to marinate in that space a little longer, in that space of nothingness, of no drama, of just stillness. Here it is again. Basically, it comes down to your energetic Wi-Fi. Okay, so what do I mean by that? You are always broadcasting a signal. Boom, stick with me, okay? If you're like, okay, she's diving off the deep end. No, this is legit, can be measured. You are an electromagnetic frequency, and you are always emitting a frequency into your environment, into the field around you. It's happening. Sometimes we're aware of it, but most of it comes from our subconscious fears, thought patterns, beliefs, things that make us behave in certain ways. So there's the inside belief, the subconscious ones, and then there's the outer, like how you actually behave, act, speak, these things. It's all broadcasting this frequency into your environment. So you need to be very careful about what you're broadcasting. Why? Because your whole world is a reflection of what you're broadcasting. Okay, so we're going to go a little segue here. Stick with me. So everything that you're putting out there that you believe that's inside you subconsciously, or how you're acting out consciously, is going to create a confirmation bias. It's the reticular activation system. Okay, so what your ego wants is to be right. Always. We just want to be right because we feel good and we feel justified. So when we have these subconscious or conscious beliefs, actions, behaviors, thought patterns, what have you, we are emitting that frequency into the field around us. And because we have this confirmation bias that so wants to be right, we are only letting back in the things that support those beliefs, whether they're negative or positive. And most likely, they're a whole bunch of gunk negative. So that's why you are always confirming your belief that you can't trust people. I'm never going to lose weight because of this X, Y, and Z. Whatever the thing is that you're negatively believing or transmitting out there, you're going to pick up on that frequency out there because it's going to confirm your belief. So you are creating and shaping your entire world by what's going on in here with your energetic Wi-Fi. Okay, so bringing back here, when you enter this space of no thought, of pure awareness, where you land there, stay there, that's the key, stay there for prolonged amounts of time, you're not emitting that same gunk out into the field. We'll just call it the field, the quantum field, what have you. Okay, so you're going to experience not only more presence, obviously, because you're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're not spinning out, spiraling imagination. You're going to be able to receive more downloads, more creative downloads. And that's not a woo-woo thing. All the information that exists is in the field around us, within us. It's a quantum field. This is very scientific. It's not. So I hate when people go like, oh, she's going woo-woo. No, you are available to those downloads of information. How many people have been like, oh, I came up with a solution out of nowhere once I just let it go and got quiet. I was like in the shower shampooing my hair and bam, the solution hit me. The idea hit me. It's because you got quiet for a minute and boom, you could download. You could download and receive that information. When you get into this space, you're going to be more in alignment energetically. You're going to have more heart coherence. So that is something we should all be striving for and focusing on, is the heart coherence, the field of resonancy that is within the heart space that goes out bigger and bigger and bigger into the area around you, like 7 times, I think it is, stronger of a magnitude than your heart. Than your actual physical energy is your heart coherency. It gets you into that space, regulates it, amplifies it. You can also find deep rest. When you get into the spaciousness, now you can release, you can relax. You find a much greater place of deep rest, which for some people is boring. They don't know what to do with it. Train yourself to get used to it so that you can, if anything, support your nervous system. Okay, if you're here listening to this and you're following me, a lot of what I'm talking about always is regulating that nervous system, okay? Also, it's going to help you have new perspectives when you're in this space of awareness, of presence, of no thought. And you're also going to help your response ability, your ability to respond appropriately. It's going to give you that space between the thoughts and then the words and the actions when they do arise. Okay, so you're able to kind of separate the two instead of just reacting. So those are some things that will help you realize this is not boring, although it may seem to be in the space of stillness. It's actually liberation. Okay, so try it on for size. Know the why. That's going to help you when you do get to that space and you're like twiddling your thumbs. Okay, key point number 3 that we're going to discuss today is, what are you going to do? What's a girl to do now? All right, so I know I'm addicted to thinking. I know that there's great benefits to staying in awareness and presence and to that stillness. So what am I to do with all that? Because I'm still human and stuff's still going to happen all day long that makes me want to think. So here's some key pointers for you. All right. First of all, if you deal with resistance a lot, I want you to check out the comments. I do have a free audio called Yes Is Too. It's going to help you just sink into the moment, whatever it's throwing at you. Stop resisting. When you resist, things persist, right? 15-minute free guided meditation link in the audio. Try that. Notice how it is to stop resisting and just like be with. That's one of the first untanglings, I think, of overthinking. Okay, beyond that, you need to just surrender and trust. So stop trying to solve everything. Stop scanning for issues. Stop obsessing. Like, just let the universe fix it all. So my husband's amazing at this. He's always like, it'll work itself out. And I'm like, but what about? And what about? And this could, and he's like, I think it'll be okay. And you know what? He's right. It usually always like just pans out. Even the things I think that happened were negative end up being like really positive in the end. I'm like, oh, if that didn't happen, then this one, oh, maybe I should just sit back, relax, surrender, and trust. That's key point number one for how to integrate this and shift your perspective and your relationship with your mind. Also, don't resist thoughts. Like I said, what you resist persists. If you do that, you're going to entangle with them worse. Let them be. Like, look at them, laugh at them, chuckle at them, and allow them to pass through. That's the difference, is you don't entangle with them. You see them and you're like, and moving on. All right. So just don't try to not. I mean, when you drop into that no thought, you're kind of trying not to think. But when it happens, don't get hung up on it. Be like, oh yeah, plop it out there. Done. Moving on. Okay. Also, shift into awareness. So that's something you can do in a few ways. You can, here's a few tricks of the trade. You can ask yourself, I love this one. I wonder what my next thought will be. That little space right after the question is stillness. It's right there. There's this pause. Okay, so it's like I always I read this somewhere and it stuck with me. It's like a cat watching a mouse hole, and it's like this tentative pause, zeroed in focus, nothing else going on, just waiting, just waiting. That waiting in itself is spaciousness. And although you're waiting for a thought, which we're not trying to do much of, you know it's going to happen. So why not get into it and enjoy the space in between those? Okay, so another thing you can do, and this is, I think this is in the Power of Now book, if I remember correctly, is to concentrate on the space between physical items. So, like between furniture, between you and your mug, the space between the trees outside. And you're going to say, well, there's nothing really there to concentrate on. Well, there's not. It's space, but there is something there. It's the field. It's ether. There's energy there. The more you notice and focus on the space between the physical, hard, tangible items, the more you're kind of tuning into what we talked about, that field. That is where all the possibilities are. That field is energy, it's information. Pick up on it and start to be curious about what happens when you do. Another thing that you can do to become more present and in the stillness and awareness is ask the question, who am I? And try to wait for an answer that isn't one of your roles or your titles or the hats that you wear. It's not your job. It's not that you're a daughter or a mom or, leader of the PTA or a wellness coach or what have you. It's none of those. Try and see what can come up if you try and remove all the labels. Who are you? At the base of all of it, who am I? All right. Okay, so let's move on to another thing. If you must think constructively. Do some self-inquiry. Do some spiritual contemplation. Creative problem solving. Not focusing on all the negatives, but really trying to get into a space where your thinking is productive, is hopeful, is positive. Don't just feed your mind a bunch of junk to munch on, because it will, and then you'll get sick afterwards, just like we always do. Okay, so also allow the human stuff to be just that. Just allow it to be human. So in Buddhism a lot and other things, they talk about all these, all of the stuff that we think about is just like human stuff. Like really you have no problem in the moment, unless you really have a problem like you are in pain or bleeding. Okay, if there's an actual issue like that, okay, deal with it. But in general, you don't actually have a problem right now. All the problems our human gunk out there because everything's neutral, but we are putting a preference on something and we're putting a story to it, a narrative. We are basically causing everything in our environment or our mind to be positive or negative, to either cause us to cling to it or to, retract from it, to push it away. And that's just all our human gunk. So if you just think of all of the issues, all the problems, all the obsessions, all the thoughts, all the worries as your human junk, you can kind of just let it go. You can detach from it and realize, well, really at the base of it, it's all good. Okay. So beyond that, I think the last one I want to say is that you need to practice daily. Practice your presence daily. That's because the world is not ever going to be short of giving you distractions to pull you away from this presence. Okay. So you have to create it as a habit. Remember how we talked about rewiring? We're so wired to have that noise going. It's just like the buzz of a fridge. So you think about that hum of the electronic in the background, you don't even notice it until it's gone. And then when the buzz stops, the power goes out or something. You ever notice that when the power goes out, everybody like perks up? What happened? What is that? It's quiet. That's all that happened is that incessant buzz stopped. That's the same with your thoughts. There's this moment of like, what's going on? Okay, we need to make that more natural. That space shouldn't be alarming to us, okay? But we don't live in a space where that has become our norm. So you need to keep that practicing as much as possible, dropping into it. You're going to get pulled out. Anticipate you're going to get pulled out. Don't resist it. Just notice like, oh, it happened again. Boop. Plop back into this stillness, awareness, open space as much as you can. It's just a game. It's a back and forth. I don't think that many of us get the opportunity in this life to live there continuously, nor would we want to, because there are times that it does feel good to think. It does feel fun to problem solve. So, like, let's be human and enjoy our human experience, but try to support your nervous system for one by allowing more and more of that stillness and space in there. All right, so we are going to get to that guided meditation that I promised you, and I want you to stick around for it if you can. I want it to be something that really truly helps you. So if you're watching this later and you're not in a space that you can fully like close your eyes and be a part of it. This isn't really a walking or do while you listen while you're doing the dishes type of meditation. Sometimes I do those where it's like, it's okay. But this is really one I want you to drop into so that you can relax and get the benefit of it. So pause this, come back to it later if that's the case. Otherwise, before we head into that meditation, I just want to reiterate, if you are not already a part of my Stress Loop Rewire community on Facebook, find me out there. There's lots of juicy tools, resources, contemplations all throughout the week. I usually take the weekends off, but Monday through Friday, I'm in there just giving value and wanting to hear from you. Find me on Facebook, Jennifer Sack, on my personal profile. You can just click the link in the banner. And also take advantage of that free audio that is in the comments. You will not regret it. You will not regret taking the time out for yourself. And also, I have a Rewire for Calm workshop that's about to drop, as well as a 7-day energy reset. If you want to be one of the first to get your hands on those, drop me a DM, message me, do whatever you can. I will make sure to get those to you as soon as they are available. Okay, so with that being said, it is time to close your eyes. And if you're just really uncomfortable with that, just take a low gaze so your eyelids are partially closed so you can relax all the muscles around your eyes. And I just want you to take a deep breath in and let that breath out. Start to notice the areas of your body that are gripping, that are anticipating, and just release and relax. We're going to enter your imagination. So we're going to use the brain. So, hey, no problems there, right? Because I want you to know that we all think. And sometimes this is worrying, sometimes it's anxiety. Today we're going to use imagination because it's a powerful engine that can help us. It can encourage us, it can set our thinking straight, it can enhance our lives by allowing us to believe and behave in the right direction. So, we're going to utilize it today as a way to help you with your overthinking, with your anxiety. So, drop your shoulders, relax down your arms and hands, and just let the breath be smooth. And if you can, breathe out through your nose, in through your nose. And again, if you haven't closed your eyes already, please do so. And I want you to imagine that I am just right there in front of you. And I want you to know that I also experience this right here with you. The overthinking, the worrying, the addiction to the dopamine, the adrenaline, the ego, the drama. But I have found so much space in the practice of presence and awareness, and that you can too. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And just slow the breath down just a tad more, not a big deal. Because we're going to go into your imagination, but I want you to first take care of your body. So notice if you need to change positions or fix anything that's bugging or scratching you. And then just allow the muscles across your face to be smooth. Relax your jaw and soften your tongue. Travel down across your shoulders and just allow them to melt. Shoulder blades just sliding down the back, belly soft, hips heavy. And don't worry, I know your thoughts may be still trying to come to center stage and yell how important everything is, because it's really not ever quiet, that voice, is it? Until you can have your attention rest on your breath, and then that voice quiets down, watches your breath. And now we're not deleting those thoughts. We're not even trying to clear them out right yet. We're just going to put them somewhere so that most of your attention can be on these two words. You're going to breathe in calm and breathe out relaxation. Breathing in calm and breathing out relaxation. And right now it's just about the body. We're going to let the mind do its little merry-go-round of thinking, mulling over a topic again and again. It's okay. Eyes closed, slow breath. And right now, just focusing on those two words, breathing in calm and breathing out relaxation. And they just offer up a suggestion, those words, that your body can enter calm, a calm relaxation. And just feel your body sinking into wherever it is. And remember, we can always go back to those hurried and scurried thoughts. We can always go back there, but what if right now we just go into calm, into relaxation? stay in the body for a bit and notice if you breathe a little slower. Notice the places of calm. And then notice the places of deeper relaxation. Thoughts are still there. That's okay. What I want you to imagine is a huge glass jar. It's a glass jar where you can place all those topics, those situations, those relationships, those conversations into this glass jar so that you can organize the anxious thoughts from the neutral thoughts. So now in your mind's eye, you can see the situations, you can see the labels of them. You might even picture in your imagination the situation, what it is, where it is, the many of them. Are they people? Is it a diagnosis? Is it a challenge? What are they? I want all of them, as they continue to come up, to go into this glass jar. It's a big jar, it can hold them. So take this time now and put those things that you have conflict about, that you have anxiety about, maybe some resistance or avoidance. Let's put them in the glass jar, just right through the top, so that you can have some clarity between those things that activate anxiety and then the places where you can enjoy thinking and imagining and feeling. We're getting kind of rid of the frenetic, highly charged, in a negative way, thoughts into this jar. I want you to imagine maybe perhaps that there's even a magnet in this jar that just pulls everything into it. The things that you didn't even realize you had an anxious thread to. Maybe do a little scanning right now. What else am I anxious about right now? What else has been plaguing me in the background? And allow everything to go into this jar. And then I want you to put a lid on the jar. Make it sealed shut tight. And you can see all the different things that this moment up until now have caused a lot of unrest, that have disturbed your peace, your sleep, your sanity. And I want you to, in your imagination now, turn your attention to nature. I want you to imagine that you could walk away from this jar and that you could walk right into a place in nature that is waiting for you. a place of neutral thought where the temperature is just right. It's your favorite time of day. And you realize that when you are in this place, your perspective shifts. And you can look back at this jar and realize it's in its right place right now. But it has no place where you are right now. And I want you to breathe, perhaps even for the first time in a few hours, days, or weeks, like a brand new, fresh breath, like an intentional breath in, breathing in calm and breathing out relaxation. And I want you to bring in that which gives you comfort, more of nature. So, is it the sun or the moon? Is there water, trees, mountains, grass, flowers? Bring in those that serve you, give you comfort in the divine. Maybe it's a dear, trusted elder. This is your place to just simply be. There's more and more space now, more distance with each breath between you and that organized container of different topics and challenges and situations. And as the distance grows, you know that right now, and you feel at the deepest level that this is where you need to place your attention, right here in this place of joy, of comfort. So get more comfortable if you can. Relax. Notice what may have tensed back up. Begin welcoming in this connection to this place, this time of day, this place of nature that you've chosen. The connection to your inner wisdom. Connection to your guidance. Everything is in its place now, and you can listen from within. So rather than thinking, we are listening with our mind, with our heart, with our body. And you have made this clearing, this shift in perspective. Again, notice that connection. That connection to something beyond your own thinking and feeling and the thought loop and the bodily sensations, something beyond that. That connection to your still small voice. Notice what becomes more and more clear in this space. And now let all the air out. Take a new fresh breath in fully into all the pockets of your lungs. And let that cascade out. Do that again. Deep breath in, hold at the top, and then just let the exhale fall out. No forcing. Just gently come back, making small movements with your fingers, your toes, maybe lifting the shoulders, stretching the arms, revisiting your body. And just notice, what are you going to take with you from this? What insights, realizations, what comfort can you tap into later? Realize that you have this glass jar. You can use your imagination to set the thoughts, the topics, the situations, the challenges, the anxieties, the worries, the judgments. You can set them aside and tap into this place anytime you wish. The power is yours. And I do hope you do that more and more often, knowing the trade off, the why it's important, all those great, valuable benefits you do get from it, even when it seems anticlimactic, unproductive. Go there and allow the downloads. Stop broadcasting a negative signal so that you can allow all the possibilities, all the opportunities that exist outside your small peripheral of awareness. Allow it to come in. Practice it more and more so it does become more natural. And I do encourage you to write down or voice note, what have you, anything that came up with you, because I guarantee within the hour you'll lose it. Life is too distracting. All right. Thank you so much for being here with me, for experiencing this. If you made it to the end, bravo. Watch it again and again. Use this meditation whenever you need. And again, get into my Stress Loop Rewire community. Find me out there on internet land. Grab the audio that is in the comments and let me know if you want any of those resources so that I can get them to you right when they drop. Thank you so much for being here. Keep being awesome out there. And until next time, I'll see ya.